which was conceived as a time-bound art and community project calling space as art and preparing common ground for facilitation and curation for artists in the town.
Thank you.
I welcome you, sir.
Sir, we proudly welcome you, sir. Kindly start your session, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good morning all. So I'm audible?
Yes,
You are audible, sir. One
Thank you.
request to all the participants, kindly pin Mr. Suresh Kumar's presentation or Suresh Kumar value. Then only you can see this video.
Actually, I'm not doing any presentation. Uh, Mostly I'll talk and share my experience with about my gardening learning and also organic way of doing, and I'm right now what I'm working on. Uh, so basically, I don't come from a horticulture or agriculture or a botanical background. I come mostly as a creative practitioner, as an artist. And but what makes me to do this project, something like this, focusing on gardening and um talking about our ecosystem, talking about our food habits and all those things is mostly like the way a painting or a sculpture or a poetry or something like that is mostly to share, and that brings a lot of people together. So similarly, I've done such projects as Samoa and other things where people come for the purpose of seeing art, and then we discuss other things. You know, we discuss politics, we discuss life, we discuss what's happening around and things like that. So similarly, here I talk about curries like saru, Colombo, or what do you call as curries, uh, where not only women, all the people in the village and surroundings uh, would discuss about the curries and what were the ingredients originally they were using as a recipes, and what are we doing today, and what we have lost, and what are the things we are not growing, and why are we not growing, and what happened to them, and what are the reasons. So that way, all I mean, the reasons now it becomes even more important because of this COVID-19 situation from last 3 months. Uh, so until then, it had another meaning. Now it looks like it's very existential crisis also for many of us, because today at this times, COVID times, we all have realized that there's something like a good immunity, good health practices, or good life practices can only uh, kind of keep us uh, afloat from this crisis, you know, something like that. Because there's no medicine yet for this situation as far as vaccination is concerned. Um, so that way, this whole exercise, what I was been doing, not only on my own terrace, but also which I try to do it in our own village, little in very close to border with Osur, Sarjapura. It's a border town with Tamil Nadu, and so this is where I was like brought up as a kid. So I always wanted to see that to preserve this easily growable, naturally available, edible weeds, and they all are have highly medicinal values and nutrition value, and also they have been traditionally used in the curries. So today, now when we think about eating greens, suppu, or this thing, we only know few greens which people will get in the market, because some of the, at least in South India, they at least you'll get 5 to 6 types in the market, uh, which are commercially grown by farmers. And then when it's about eating a green curry in a restaurant, you hardly see them, at least in the cities. At the most you can see is palak, you know, which is made into what a palak paneer or palak curry and all those things, or methi, little bit used in dishes. So otherwise, you don't see any greens making it to a mainstream restaurant. So that way, also, since this greens doesn't have shelf life and difficult to like preserve it and things like that, so they also don't make it to the most of the markets or supermarkets. So that's why I've been like very keen on like urban gardeners or terrace gardeners to adopt this wild greens um, from the wild and grow them in the urban context, and to get benefit of all these things. So this was my exercise, and since uh, now today to this topic we are talking about the soil and also organic gardening. So why is it the soil becomes important now? As I said, I'm not a professionally trained specialist about soil and gardening and all, but with my experience, I would like to share something like very holistic, like an overall approach towards the soil. Is my speed okay, or I have to slow down a little bit? Hello.
Sir, your speed is okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you,
sir.
doctor.
Okay. Okay. So my what I realized is today, see, some of us we treat our pets, for example, as a family members. You know, we name them, we do birthdays, we celebrate them. We accepted pets as our family members, or we accepted the rights of animals also. So similarly, I also wish that ideally that we also accept the rights of a nature, rights of a lake, rights of a tree. So so similarly, I also see that we should see the soil itself as a life. Like if you consider not water as something to consume, but see water itself as a life of its own. So similarly, soil is not just a medium for us to grow plants and trees, but to see soil itself is a life. It's like our human body, you know. So if you see that approach towards the soil, then you will not kill it. But what we're doing now, till now, I mean, not traditionally, but in recent times, because we wanted to grow more food and we have become specialists in growing food. It's not like everyone can go grow food anymore, like before. Like if you know the human history, everyone were gatherers and they were growing their food and things like that. But today we have become specialists. So some specialists are growing food and we are just consuming it. So what happened in the process is we know what I have done, not only for our health system, but also to the soil itself, or to our environment also, to our lakes also, to our rivers also, or to our sea also. So now I'm trying to say is like if you change this approach of seeing the soil as a life, then you'll make sure, consider it's a human body, you'll make sure that what if you feed what things you feed them, what things you have to give them ideally, so that the soil survives or the soil becomes healthy. So this is the approach we have to have. So anything if we treat, for example, if we treat like all these years we have done in like few decades, that we saw soil as a medium, our only intention was to grow more, and we didn't bother about the soil's life. So we almost killed it now, and it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time for the soil, which is already killed, to get its life back. And it's possible. It's not that we can't, you know. So nature has its power to, and our human intervention can even make, because we have spoiled it, and we also have to be responsible for it to recover. So similarly, all these exercises and experiments is happening in a smaller scale, but it has not gone into a larger scale. Today, if you think of organic food, it sounds little fancy in the urban context, expensive and all those things, or very fashionable, or it belongs to a certain class because we can't afford, or it's extremely local, like where a tribe or some very far off, remote since it doesn't have market to get vegetables and fruits and whatever it is. So they might be growing what is locally there and self-deployment. It's as simple as that, and as expensive as in an urban context where this expensive organic stuff is marketed with a good packaging and selling and all those things. So, but it doesn't have to be that wide as a different. But it can be like we as urban people or urban gardeners can adopt this traditional approaches and start growing local food. So in a way, local means that what is grown usually in that region. For example, generally in South India, we could never grow a cabbage or a cauliflower because of weather conditions. But today we are able to grow a cabbage and cauliflower. And we all know how much pesticides it needs to grow a cabbage and a cauliflower in our conditions, because it's extremely hot and warm conditions here. And so if you even talk to a dietitian or a nutrition, so they'll definitely agree that the nutrition value of cabbage or a cauliflower, what you get, which is sprayed with highly potent pesticides and all those things, that amount of nutrition you can usually get in some plants which are edible, which is openly easily grown in the wild. If you go to an empty plot somewhere around your houses or somewhere around farms, you can see a lot of greens which are edible traditionally, which a lot of us might not know now, or some of us know. So all that nutrition what you would get or more from a cabbage and cauliflower would get double or 3 times more the nutrition in this commonly available weeds around you. So our point is now to, instead of doing this uphill task of growing a fancy vegetables in our surroundings, which is not suitable, and wasting our resources and also killing our soil because we are using pesticides, we also not only killing soil, we are also killing the biodiversity also, the insects, reptiles and butterflies and all these things, because we are using so much of this thing. And we also use excessive medicine. For example, if there is a dengue outbreak, the municipality or the corporation will come and spray a lot of stuff which is not monitored at all, how intense it is. It might be look safe for us, but actually you can see on the ground, you'll see a lot of insects. Like when mosquito dies, even other butterflies and other insects also will die with the same medicine. So, but there are other many organic or natural ways to control a mosquito, for example, even in a village, because I see even in the village, they spray so many things like this. They also spray this herbicides. Herbicides means to kill the weeds. So that itself is not only killing the weeds, but it also is killing all the insects. So when the insects are not around, birds doesn't have any food, because birds don't depend on your grains or rice and all those things what you are offered to the birds. They want their natural habitat. So they don't get little insects to eat. And even if they eat the dead insects, they also will die. So that way, and you see no honeybees around. So without honeybees, your vegetables doesn't get pollinated. Your organic way of saving seeds is not possible because the pollination is not happening. So there are so many such complications which we have ended up. So that's why we now, even if I decide to grow vegetable, the seeds I get today or the plants I get is all hybrid. They don't need pollination, they don't need anything. You just have to grow. But when it's about sustainability, your vegetable plants are not sustainable, because since they are hybrid, they need a lot of medicines, a lot of pesticides, because it doesn't have its own strength to resist. So the same company which is producing the seeds might also recommend or sell fertilizers and also pesticides which should go along with your crop. So it's not self-dependency. So I'm not talking about only economic point of view, like most of the small farmers and all will suffer from, but I'm talking about the health perspective, both of the soil and also about our own health. So this has been my learning, and this has been my approach towards the gardening when it's about small scale, because we in the title it says farming, but it should not be read as farming, but I would request that it should be understood as gardening, because I'm really not doing in a large scale because I don't have land or something like that, but I'm doing it in a community level where people around their houses, they can grow any empty plots, any terraces, any common spaces in the villages or towns. We can also, our cities, like we have lake areas, we have a common parks, and instead of growing lawns, unwanted lawns, which is only beautiful for our eyes, but no purpose is served. I would request all the institutions and other universities or colleges and schools should grow edible greens. It looks like grass, but people can consume it also. Since if you are growing organically, not spraying chemicals, people who are working there or faculty or the hostels who are around can also consume those greens, instead of growing some fancy imported grass and all those things in the campuses or plants, because we are growing a lot of plants in our institutions which don't attract not even a single butterfly. There are so many traditional local plants which can attract a lot of insects, and which can house a lot of insects, and which can be like a host plants for the lot of insects and butterflies and things like that. So this is the something like a consciousness which I'm trying to work, and it's long way to go, but with such talks and such sharing and posting today, that we are able to reach to 120 people, it's possible that this little consciousness can help us to do. And when people say that we don't have space, I don't see space as an excuse, because we all know that gardeners, even like places like Mumbai, where there's no space for many of them, it's all high rise. So there are a lot of women gardeners, or many men gardeners also, doing extremely well, growing self-sufficient food, also saving seeds in their own balconies. So if you Google or on Facebook or anywhere, you can check for balcony gardeners, you'll see a lot of people doing amazing gardening with the limited resources in their gardens. In the balconies. So when they say, okay, first I talked about the space that we can grow anything even in the smaller spaces also, depending on how you manage and techniques you use. Similarly, when it's about time, people say, first they say they don't have space. The next thing they would say they don't have time. And time, we all know, is a myth. Especially now with the COVID situation, we all have to re-understand what is the value of time, or what is the time we always were rushing for. So a lot of us are health conscious because of our changing lifestyles. We do spend a lot of hours on our health. Like walking, jogging, and exercise, gym, and all those things. If you calculate all those hours, how many hours you spend, that's enough for you to spend the same amount of time in your garden. In your terrace, growing something. So that way, we are not only contributing to the nature, but we are also contributing to our own family health system also, because we are saving money for our offspring's education and their future. But health is very important also, especially now. You see the situation now. So all the investment we have to do now is on our health system. Not only the government, we ourselves as individuals. So keeping all these things, I would see that ideally, maybe like from last 3-4 decades, we used to see something written on a lorry or a auto rickshaw or a bus, one family, one tree, or something like that, that everyone should grow one tree. But we know that growing tree is not feasible anymore. When I'm talking about the social aspect, like people growing tree, because you might grow a tree in front of your house, but there'll be electricity company or a telephone company or the water line or the road people, they'll be cutting it. So they'll be mostly disturbing its growth, whatever it is. So this idea of growing a tree on a roadside is a bad idea these days. You feel very hurt. You grow a tree and somebody comes and cut it. So I rather suggest that you grow for yourself. You grow trees which can give food to you, like moringa or whatever it is, in your own spaces. So that way you sustain the green in your spaces as much as possible. Instead of washing your hands with washing your hands with feeling that, oh, I planted one tree there. That's not sufficient now. So fine, if we have space, we can grow. But when there's no space in a city context, I would rather see this approach that we fill our terraces, we fill our balconies, we fill our homes as much as possible with the greens. So this micro way of social greening is very important than the idea of social forestry, because the most of, like, our state government here has a department called social forest. Even the municipality has a social forest responsibility, but it's not happening. We don't see a single tree which has turned 25 years now. Even before it turns 10 years, 20 years, it will be cut because the road has become so big then. So we only see very ancient trees in our parks, but we don't see anything, trees which are grown in last 25 years, because they are cut immediately. So, and also we should understand, uh, traditionally they were growing a lot of banyan and other big trees on the roadside, like mango trees and other things on the roadside historically, because people were commuting on the roads on bullock carts or by walk. The movement was very slower, so they really needed a shade on the roadsides. But today, uh, we are kind of zipping through the highways. We are zipping through our small roads. So the shade necessity is not so much as it was before. So this whole idea of planting a tree is a bad idea for me, if I think from the tree's perspective. So as a tree, I don't want to. If I am a tree, I don't want to be planted on the roadside or in the middle of the road to be like uh, exhausted. I mean, like, to take all the vehicle dust and pollution, and people cutting and all those things. That kind of a torture. I really don't want to go through. Like the way we don't want our pets to be tied. And we want them to be free and things like that. Similarly, a tree, I feel, should not be on a roadside, because not only that it bothers the other things, but the kind of a torture it goes through in its lifetime, it should not happen to a tree. They also have lives. So ideally, I wish that they should have their own space, that we as public should demand more spaces for trees, and we as individuals should grow more on our terraces and on our balconies. And water consumption and the space and the time is a myth, so we can at least grow when we have enough rainfall. you know and there are many other uh, techniques and many other ways where you can grow a lot of things with minimum water usage. Like, for example, if you want to grow a brinjal plant, which can be for 2 years in a pot, so under the pot for 2 years you can grow kire greens for 4 or 5 seasons. In 2 years time, a brinjal plant will last. Under the brinjal plant you can always grow greens, so that way you're not wasting the space, you're getting the greens. Also, you're preserving the ground of the under the brinjal tree by not letting it water to evaporate. So if you're growing greens continuously, that the bottom of the brinjal plant, for example, will not dry, it will retain. And also when your greens is cut, and the roots will rot there, and they become also manure for your brinjal plant. This is a small example I'm saying what you can do in your terrace and balcony and things like that. So this has been my little approach, and now I'll stop this and I'll open this to a question session, so that anything which I have not touched and anything you want to know from my own discussion or from your own understanding, you can ask now.
So really thanks a lot, sir. It's holistic speech, sir.
Mm.
We salute you, sir. I request the participants to have any questions with the sir. Any questions from participant side, please? Sir needs interaction session.
I think they have to unmute their microphones if they want to ask.
My request to all the participants, If you want to ask any question, kindly unmute your audio. Please ask the question to sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good morning, sir. Sir, I would like to ask one question. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, in the present situation, as you see, there is a huge population. Okay. Not only in India, but in all the countries all over the globe. So, while looking at this, the need of the people, so is it possible to make organic farming?
Yeah, it is possible because when there was no technology,
Okay.
when even if you know the primitive history, when people didn't even know the concept of farming or agriculture,
Okay.
so even then they survived. Why did they
Yeah.
got into farming or gathering? Is because they couldn't hunt more.
Okay.
Various reasons. They couldn't hunt. They couldn't get food. That is when they started growing. So it's not that we are born with all the skills. We are adopted. So similarly, I've understood in last 3 months, I've got more demand or more phone calls or more requests for the seeds than before.
Okay.
It's not only because of the lockdown, but people
Okay.
have realized not only because the vegetable prices went up, and not only
Okay.
because the vegetables are not there. So anybody who is possible, who has space, time as a concept, and as I said, it's a very holistic approach. We are not talking about economics, like need and demand and the supply and things like that. But
Okay.
I feel out of at least now we have 130 people, and at least when we have internet, when we are talking here, I think we all 100 people can definitely grow something on our balconies or terraces and little things. So I'm not saying that I can grow like on my terrace. I don't grow rice, I don't grow wheat or all the same. I know I have to depend, but somewhere what I'm growing with which is mostly corrupt because they don't spray much chemicals for a wheat or a ragi or something like that, but they spray more to your vegetables, to your greens, because the greens today around the cities are grown from the lake dirty waters. You know, so these are the things when you cut down on it and grow safe food for yourself, and if you're eating like a staple like wheat or rice from a shop bought, this it can balance. So something is better than nothing, instead of totally depending on all the things and we are not eating also. As I said, you go to a restaurant, even if you want to eat a green curry, you don't get anything other than palak. But when we have 20 plus naturally growing wild greens and 20 plus growable greens.
Okay. But sir, one thing which I would like to ask, sir. Sir, can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Sir, by looking at the need of the people, okay, I'm talking about especially organic farming, okay. The need and supply of the organic foods, maybe grains, vegetable, is it proportional? Do you find the correct proportion of the need and supply, whatever getting today?
See, so need and supply, when I say, because I've also seen in Europe, and where they are much more conscious about all these things. They know where their food is coming from, and they don't.
Okay.
They simply don't buy imported stuff. Many European countries, people are conscious. They don't buy anything which is imported, which is cheaper. Because there in Europe, anything is imported is very cheap. For us, it's different. Our imported apples or imported oranges are expensive than the local apples and local oranges. But whereas in Europe, if anything is imported, that means it's very cheap because they are mass produced. Whereas if it's grown locally by the local farmer, which has to be subsidized because it's expensive, because to sustain farming in a thing, it is very expensive. So that, but people support it. So when you are able to pay little price, definitely farmers will go for organic.
Yes.
When you are unable to pay, for example, to grow a palak and to sell a bundle, it's only cost 5 rupees, for example.
Yes.
But if you want to grow it organically, it needs 20 rupees.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But that 20 rupees, that 15 rupees, actually you're saving in your medical bills,
Yeah.
in your hospital visits. And this is, I know this. I'm not just talking in numbers. This is my own family experience also.
Okay.
And though we believe in
But
Ayurveda and all,
sir, economically, if we look at this particular scenario, for common people, it would not be affordable to buy, for example, palak of 20 rupees
no, I'm
other than
saying,
5 rupees. Okay.
so what I'm saying is this is the same thing as I told, that ordinary people will definitely have more time, because for us the equation is time and labor, right? Which is money.
Okay.
Why things are expensive? Because the labor is expensive,
Yeah, yeah.
isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
when people can't afford, definitely they have a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you make it as an equation, I'm not an economist, but my simple sense says that when you say you don't have time, so you're buying. When you have time, you can grow, or you can do your own things. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is how it's like a crafts. You to buy, you have to buy from a company, but if you're able to do it yourself, because you have time, so that saves your not only resources, your skills and local this thing, and also your knowledge about it, and also the tradition about it, and also the economy about it.
Okay, sir. Sir, in the present scenario, everything is hybridized as far as the agriculture products are concerned. Okay. So government is not taking that much right action on all these hybridized things because of what I think, sir, that because of the need of people, government want to fulfill the needs. Okay.
No, actually, I don't think so. It's not that government is doing all those things, because there's a lot of things depends on where is the government. Government is not reaching to anybody who are walking hunger, people sleeping hunger. Government has not reached.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't believe in this concept of government is interfering in your lives. They
Okay.
might say, okay, get Aadhaar card, get that, get this, that's all. But
Okay, sir.
still, what was the purpose of getting Aadhaar card? To reach out, but it's not happening. People who died on the way back to their homes also had Aadhaar cards.
Mm-hmm.
Their information was there on digital.
Yes,
So I'm
sir.
saying any purpose of a government is to reach out to the people, yes. But today, which is not happening, because government can't do much, and we have to take care of ourselves. Where is today government? Where are the government hospitals today? We
Yes,
know
sir.
that the government is exposed. I'm not saying the current government, any government I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes.
because now today we see the reports from most of the metro cities private hospitals. Initially they didn't take patients, now they're taking patients of COVID with the lakhs per day,
Yeah.
openly stated in front of their buildings.
Okay.
And so what is the government doing now?
Nothing. Nothing.
So what do you do? What do you and I do today? We think, okay, let me not fall sick. Not only to about this protecting ourselves with masks, but we think about our kitchens now more than ever. What are
Yes,
we
sir.
eating? How can we are maybe googling a lot of things which can improve our lungs. We are
Yes.
googling about plants and medicines, not medicines, plants and herbs which can help our immunity today. Maybe we have not done that in last 10 years.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
common
Yes.
man, I'm saying. I'm not about talking about only a person who is unwell and things like that. Today, everyone are looking at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, isn't it? So this is the time. It's a different times now. That's why I'm saying, I'm insisting. Though I was doing this project from last few years, but this is the time I'm stressed. I'm kind of, this topic is much more in discussion than ever before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from participant side?
Hmm. I can also give my number on the group and the messages. So people, if they have
Any discussions from participant side? Yes. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
so I've messaged the phone number of mine, so which is on WhatsApp. Please, you can also continue this discussion with I preferably I do it. I prefer to do it on WhatsApp. You can leave, even if you can't type so much, you can leave a voice message and things like that. And I can understand a little bit of Tamil, no problem, but I'll reply in English. But maybe I might not attend phone calls, but messaging me to know more about gardening and how to do it and all those things, definitely I can guide you all or share my knowledge further so that everyone at least grow little things for their family. That way, I'm not saying grow trees for sake of trees and nature and all those things. I'm saying focus on your health, and grow your food, and which can solve other problems also. When you're growing food organically, naturally, your insects and butterflies are around home. The birds will come, and the rest is taken care.
Okay, sir. Sir, are you comfortable in Hindi, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Few of my friend, they also wanted to discuss you on WhatsApp. So I'll give you a number.
But in the voice message is fine. But if they text it too much,
No.
difficult to read.
They talk. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. I can
Otherwise,
read.
you
But it's,
prefer to talk in English.
yeah, yeah,
No problem.
yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It was very nice session, and I had a good opportunity, sir, through that Anuradha ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. Again.
So, any more questions or information you need? Because I really didn't want to, because since everyone are coming from
Thank you,
various
sir.
backgrounds, and I don't know.
Any questions? Jagadishwari ma'am. Attention to Jagadishwari ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Jagadishwari ma'am.
So there is a question.
It is my great
Hello,
privilege.
Jagadishwari ma'am. Kindly proceed. Vote of thanks, ma'am. Sir, really excellent and holistic session, sir. It is. It is with you once again, sir.
Okay.
We communicate you through. Please proceed. Vote of thanks, ma'am. Ma'am, sir is telling audible, sir.
Yeah, audible.
Sir, have you discussed anything, sir? Your voice is not audible. Suresh Kumar, sir.
Tell me. Hello. I'm unable to get your question.
Audible, sir? Sir, is it audible? Hello, sir, is it audible, sir?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, now I can.
To propose
Yes.
vote of thanks. My heartful thanks to pledge. It is my great privilege, my heartfelt thanks to our managing trustees, principal, Dr. Ponnasamy sir, convener, wonderful session, and speaker, sir, for innovative thoughts in today's session. Thank you. I once again thank you everyone.
So just that I want to say there are some questions on the messages. I mean, they can personally text me to my number, and I'll further reply to them on the chat or on WhatsApp. So there are questions about people asking how to improve the soil and all those things. And since in this small session we can't talk in detail, so they can personally contact me on that number, and I'll definitely help them to understand what needs to be done to improve the soil in their gardens.